I saw that it's been 2 months, so might be. So let's just talk about the Democratic Party. Am I right? The old party, the old guard, and it's been frustrating for the past, I guess 5 or 4 months now since Trump's been in office, and it's just really funny to see Chuck Schumer being like, "We will finally defy Donald Trump once he." Once he does the thing that is unconstitutional. I was like, that's when we will defy him. And then when Trump does something unconstitutional, he's like, well, my hands are tied. Might be. And it's just causing like a lot of discontent in the party. A lot of people are just being very jaded by this because the Democrats feel like they have done nothing at all. And I know they don't got power. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, just get power all of a sudden. Like, we are waiting for midterms, by the way. But the one thing I've been seeing is just like them just being asleep at the wheel, like David Hawk said. And, I'm like, all right with David Hawk. There's some things I don't like his APAC thing. But besides that, I think him saying that we do need to get rid of Democrats that are doing nothing, that are voting against like our best interests, where we have safe chairs, we should get rid of the old Democrats and just put in new ones, more progressives. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And you know how the DNC responded to that? Guess. They want to kick him out. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm like, why are they just trying to prevent progress in the party? I think the party right now needs to evolve because, going more to the right wasn't really that popular. So I think going more to the left and being more progressive on things, being more pro-immigration, being more, not open border, because, open border doesn't exist. I think saying open border is just like a Republican talking point, because not even Democrats are like, yeah, let's have an open border. They're more like, people that do show up here that are asylum seekers, we should just have them fast track through and, give them some sort of documentation. And Republicans have really owned the Democrats on that, unfortunately, because they're carrying the narrative saying the Democrats are allowing crime everywhere. And once again, those are lies. But Democrats are awful at responding to that because they're saying like that as they're responding to the Republicans as if they're saying a reality, which they're not. So yeah, it's just very interesting to see how Democrats are failing their messaging on this part, but it's not just the message, just like how they're saying the message. Because unfortunately, a lot of Democrats are very interested in that APAC money, and they're seeing their constituents, like me, for example. Let's say I'm just like a college student and I have like a visa or something, for example, and I'm like, oh, what's going on in Israel and Palestine? That's pretty crazy. Maybe we shouldn't be sending bombs to Israel and giving them so much aid so then they can wipe out the Palestinians. Maybe we should not do that. And then like when you talk to a Democrat about that, they're like, go away, poor. I don't want to talk to you. Goodbye. You're not giving me my money. Go away. And just like waving you off. And that's just not really the right way to like treat people, especially because if you're like validly like concerned for children, unarmed civilians, and even the whole thing of like starving people, and you're saying that to your congressman, they're just being like, go away, you're Hamas, or shoo poor, I just want my money. Then yeah, of course you're gonna have discontent with the party, and Republicans also know that too. So it's interesting to see that both of these like geopolitical stances are kind of uniparty. Like Republicans and Democrats also agree that like they should send money to Israel, and I don't really think that's like a good messaging. I think Democrats should just like pivot away from that and just be like, why are we giving them so much money? Let's not take foreign money. And I think that'd be a good idea. even Gavin Newsom's being like more anti-trans in his rhetoric, where he's like, yeah, you know what, the small percentage of people that are doing sports that are transgender, we should not allow that. And it's like, I think like 4 or 5 people at most sometimes, like in a state like Utah or something, where even like the governor was like, why am I really making legislation for like 5 people? That's dumb. I'm not gonna do that. That's stupid. Like, this is like a non-issue. And that's like another thing of like Republicans carrying the narrative, where they're saying that it's like a giant thing, like a giant transification of the youth. And it's not. There's another thing too, where Democrats are losing men, Hispanic men, black men, white men. Like, they're losing that part of the voting demographic. I think it was like 42% of Hispanic men voted for Kamala Harris, opposed to Joe Biden, that got like, I think over 50% or like above that. So yeah, just better messaging for men. Not saying that like they should be more misogynist. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they should just talk more about class issues, you know, like up versus down, workers issues, union stuff, you know, just stuff like that. I'm not really like that well versed on that, but I do know that Democrats aren't really talking much about unions now. We used to, like, a lot of the time. And before Ronald Reagan came into office, there was a much bigger union. And then he came in and he bulldozed that and was like, you know what? Corporations, you are people and you deserve more money. And also, I'm going to make stock buybacks legal. So then, you know, they just made the quality of life for men and women just like shoot down. Now, you need 2 incomes to survive, and it's showing up in a lot. For like, rent has like stopped going down, it's shooting up. Rents are like a horrible issue, the economy is an horrible issue, like food's going up. And it's just like, you need to have your ears on the streets. Democrats are failing in that. They have this sort of like elitism bravado, and I think that's horrible, especially now. You need to be more genuine in that manner. Like, if someone's like, I can't afford rent, I can't afford food, I'm gonna be homeless if I lose my job, and I'm not gonna have like any sort of benefits. I don't have like paternity leave. And then the Democrats are like, oh, did you know that Republicans are awful and horrible, by the way? You know, Trump is really bad. He's horrible. And then you're like, well, that doesn't fix my issue. Like, I'm still not going to be having money, or I don't have more money. The food's not going down. Well, you know, Trump is like making 2025 thing. And then you're like not talking about the issues. You need to talk more about the issues, like economy, like making things more affordable for people. Rent control, I think, would be a huge thing. Also, like, just stop price gouging, stop scalpers. People are scalping food, people are scalping housing. Especially changing like this whole thing of like what a mom and pop shop is. My place is able to have over 100 houses, 100 properties, and that would still be considered mom and pop property owner. Are you serious? Like, that's insane. The Republicans, they're evil. They're just straight up evil. Like, there's no in between that. They're just doing evil stuff. Like, they're taking away rights, they're disappearing people, they're they're sending ICE agents to anybody. They have tried to deport citizens. They have falsely claimed a man is an MS-13 gang member. And then Trump, the old fart that he is, said he wrote MS-13 right on his hand, and he didn't realize that was Photoshop. And it's so frustrating because Democrats are not doing anything. They're not saying anything about that. And people are like, why are you not doing anything for us? Why are you not helping us? Please help us. And they're like, well, we don't have the powers, we don't have the votes, you know, wait till midterms. And then, you know what Kamala said? She said, well, I told you so. I told you so. Wow, you told me so? You told me so? Wow, that's great. How about you get off your butt and you start campaigning with AOC and Bernie Sanders, like doing the whole Stop the Oligarchy tour. You become more progressive and you just fight for people. Fight for the normal working man, the normal working person. And you just try to do something else besides, oh, I told you so, ha ha ha. You know, you do like this whole like snobby neoliberal like take of like, well, you know, this was bad, but this wasn't my fault. Like, not taking the issue of things not being your fault is like a horrible stance. I think for Democrats, they have to own up to like their mistakes, own up to their shortcomings, and then maybe they won't be such a disappointing party. Because you know what happens when I think about it? This is a perfect analogy. There is an abusive parent, and then there is the parent that said nothing. When you're growing up, you're just gonna assume that the parent that said nothing is worse than the parent that's abusive, because at least you know that the parent that's abusive is gonna always be abusive. But there's a parent that you think is gonna lend out a helping hand, lend out some sort of guidance for you, and they do nothing. They don't get you away from the abusive parent. And you know what the Democrats are? They are the parents that do nothing. That's why there's so much discontent in the goddamn party, because they are willing to just watch you get abused over and over again and then laugh at you. It is so upsetting, because this elitism is one of the worst things I've seen in the Democratic Party. And I know there's progressives in there. I know people are trying to fight for our rights, but it's just, they need to fight harder. There needs to be less of a divide between the Democrats that want to be Republicans, and then the Democrats that want to be actually fighting for people's rights and actually doing something. They want to get the old farts out, and then they want to put in new young people that aren't going to die before a vote of a bill gets in place. Because you know what happened? And you know what happened with the big, beautiful bill? 3 Democrats, they died before they could even vote on the goddamn bill. And it was 3 votes that could have just stopped the bill from going through. And you know what happened? The 3 Democrats, they died of old age. And it's just so frustrating, because like, you're thinking, why? Why are they just dying? Because they're refusing to let the younger generation go forward. Let the younger generation just come in and bring out their new ideas. They're not mentoring people. They're just holding on to the old guard until they die of old age. Because they're saying, over my dead body, but over my dead body is literally what they're doing. Like, they want to hold on to the party. Like the guy that beat AOC because Nancy Pelosi put him in, the 78-year-old guy that had throat cancer, he died recently. And it's so frustrating, because Democrats are just like, no, this is still fine. This is still fine. We can have the old people in. We don't need new ideas. We're fine. We're not Republicans, so people should vote for us. And that should not be a thing. You should earn your people's votes. You shouldn't just be assuming people are going to vote for you just because you vote. You are the party that is against another party. You should be able to get your votes because you earn it. You earn it with your policies that should be benefiting other people. Like the light speed rail that Gavin Newsom was talking about when I was watching H-Rock, Big A, Lil A clips. I watched him interview Gavin Newsom, and you know what Gavin Newsom said when H-Rock was asking him about the light speed rail, what's happening, what's with the progress? He was like, oh, you know that, we're not really going to work on it too much, because there's a lot of restrictions. But also, Texans, the Republicans, are spending more money and they're not doing anything. But that's not even answering the question of, can you lower rent? Can you make this more efficient? Can you make this faster? None of that. You have to blame the other party because you're so inefficient at your own governing. What does Texas Lightspeed Rail have to do with the goddamn California Lightspeed Rail? What do they have to do between each other? And it's so frustrating because Democrats are literally just being asleep at the wheel. They're not doing anything for us. So when I see people have discontent for the party, I say, you're goddamn right. They should have discontent for the party because they're not doing anything to fight for the working man, the common man, the person that is struggling to pay their bills, the person that is one missed paycheck, one accident away from going into debt and then becoming homeless. That is why I believe that the Democrats need to adjust. They need to evolve. If not, they're going to be left with the times, just like the Federalist.